Good morning. It's apple butter making day. My brother Dave asked me if I'd ever made apple butter at home, and I have, but it's been so many years, like crazy. I used to have an apple peeler, one of those old metal things, and it broke. So we're doing this by hand today. I could make applesauce first, but we're going to try it this way. So I picked some ugly Jonagolds yesterday. I need about 12 pounds. I have a little extra than that just because I'm going to have to cut out some bad spots. So I've made this before. I think it was even a different crockpot. I think that crockpot broke too. So I've got some cider from a couple years ago that we had in the freezer, and then sugar, so this will be a double recipe, some cinnamon, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of cloves. Cook it for, I don't know, a few hours on high, and then cook it on low until it looks like apple butter. I remember helping my great aunt Bessie, back in the 70s, make schnitz apples. She called it schnitzing apples for applesauce. And those were the Lodi apples in the summer. So this is one way to do it. This wastes a little bit more, but I have plenty of apples, so I'm just like cutting with this big knife, cutting everything off. I keep trying to figure out the best way, fastest way. So this time I cut off the top and the bottom, and now I'll see what goes faster. Either cutting them off that way or going around in a circle. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Now I'll just cut him half again, quarter. 45 minutes later, and we are making progress. In fact, I'm going to see how much this crockpot holds. I mean, I can't do more than the crockpot will hold. Now, the recipe doesn't call for apple cider, but I know I've used that before. Oh my goodness, this is going to get full. And since I have the cider, I figured I might as well use it. Oh, is this my biggest crockpot? Maybe I need to make 2 crockpots at once. Well, we'll see. It will cook down. Now, I had an old recipe that took, I think this was from one of my canning books, took a cup of vinegar. Oh, was that bad? Like, why would you do that to good apples? No. We're not making salsa here, guys. I think I gotta stop. Well, that's, I'm gonna have to go get another crock pot. Might have to take some of these out. Okay, so what I'm gonna put in is 2 cups of white sugar, 2 cups of brown sugar. I'm thinking here. Yeah, still thinking. I don't know what to do. Maybe that's more like a batch and a half instead of 2 batches. That's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to do a batch and a half. Hey, I can always taste it. If it needs more sugar, I can put more sugar in. But I'm not going to be able to stir in 4 cups of sugar in that. That thing's at the top. All right. Take some of these apples out. Might have to find another crock pot. All right, I made a batch and a half. And fingers crossed. So that's a cup and a half of brown sugar, a cup and a half of white sugar, about a cup of cider, tablespoon of cinnamon, half teaspoon of salt, and I didn't do as much cloves as it called for. That's maybe an 1/8 teaspoon of cloves. Let's stir it up, turn it on, and see what we got. And remember that my Instapot could be used as a slow cooker. So we've got 2 of them going pretty. 3 hours later for this first crock pot. Remember the other one I'm using, the Instapot, it's about an hour behind. I can't leave the lid off yet because they're still not completely cooked. So it's now noon. After 4 hours, this is what it looks like. Chunky applesauce on its way to becoming apple butter. A few more hours. Okay, that didn't take long. Now it looks like runny applesauce, not chunky. And it's now 3 p.m. That means this has been in here since 4 and 3, 7 hours. So I'd say it's easily going to take 12 hours. You can see it has shrunk down quite a bit. When it gets toward the end, it does thicken up faster. But yeah, that's applesauce thickness. That is not apple butter thickness. And the other one that's supposed to be only an hour behind, let me show you, it's nowhere. So I've not even been able to use the emulsion blender on this yet. Oh, it might almost be ready. This one's just taking crazy long. Okay, I was finally able to use the immersion blender on the 1 hour behind, the stuff that's in the Instapot. So you see the difference in color? Yeah, this one's definitely darker. But that one's not as bad as I thought. I'm still tempted to mix the two together. Should I do that or not? If I knew they would both fit. Well, so can you tell what I decided? Yeah, you can tell, can't you? That's the stuff from the Instapot, and this is the other, and now I guess now this is going to take even longer. I got home from the football game, another, I don't know, when we left it was 38-0, our team. This is not done yet. And tomorrow morning we're going to Johnny Appleseed. I've got a reunion. Let's see, what is that? 45 years tomorrow night. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this in quart jars and let it cool off in the morning, put it in the refrigerator, and then when I have time, a few more hours, I will finish it. I mean, it's getting close, but it's still not thick enough. Well, I have 5 quarts here, but I will have to cook it down a little bit more, so I don't know what it will end up being. Maybe 4 quarts? We will see, but it's too late to deal with it tonight. So they're deciding whether they can challenge the kitten for the piece of chicken. Come on, guys, you can take him. You're really not going to challenge him.